If you started earning $1 every second, right now, you would need 31,000 years to reach Elon Musk's net worth. 31,000 years ago, mammoths still walked the earth. Humans lived in caves. The wheel had not been invented. $1 every second, without stopping, for all of recorded human history, and you still would not have enough. And here's the question nobody stops to ask. Does he even have it? Is it sitting somewhere? Can he spend it? Because some people will tell you Tesla made him the richest man in history. Others will tell you his relationship with Donald Trump changed everything.
If he loses, man, what if he loses? It does seem that way.
Neither answer is complete. And the real answer is going to change how you think about money itself. Some valuation models briefly placed Elon Musk's fortune near or above the $1 trillion mark, depending on how his private companies were valued. But what does $1 trillion mean? Not as a number on a screen, as something you can feel. At today's average American home price, $1 trillion could buy approximately 2.8 million homes, enough to house every single person in the state of Texas. It is more than the entire annual economic output of Norway, Portugal, New Zealand, and Finland. Countries with governments, armies, hospitals, and centuries of history. But did Elon Musk actually become the world's first trillionaire? The honest answer depends entirely on who is doing the calculation. Some reports placed his net worth above $1 trillion. Others argued those valuations were far too optimistic. The number itself is disputed. And that dispute reveals something far more interesting than the number. The $1 trillion number is not money. Think about your own home. You bought it for $200,000. Today, it is worth $800,000. On paper, you are $600,000 richer. But you cannot pay rent with your house. You cannot buy groceries with your house. Now replace the house with hundreds of billions of dollars worth of stock in companies he built from nothing. That is what $1 trillion means when it belongs to Elon Musk. Not a vault, not a bank account. A number that represents what millions of investors believe his companies are worth. And when that belief shifts, the number moves faster than any economy on Earth. In a single day in 2021, his net worth fell by $27 billion. That is roughly what the US federal government spends on NASA, gone, in one afternoon. No factory burned, no rocket exploded. Investors changed their minds. $1 trillion fortunes are not built from cash. They are built from belief, expressed as a number. So what exactly are people believing in that creates a number that large? Most people answer that with one word: Tesla. The factories are real. The cars on the roads are real. The revenue is real. But Tesla, at its peak, was valued at over $1 trillion. One car company, worth more than Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, General Motors, BMW, Mercedes, and Stellantis combined. Less than one American electric vehicle company. That is not a valuation built on cars sold today. That is a valuation built on cars people believe will one day drive themselves, without a human, on every road on Earth. A future that does not exist yet. But investors were paying for it anyway. If Tesla alone was once worth $1 trillion, why is Elon's personal fortune anywhere near that same number? Because Tesla is not even the biggest part of what he owns. There is another company, SpaceX. For over 2 decades, SpaceX never appeared on a single stock exchange. Elon Musk had long argued that public markets were incompatible with building rockets to Mars. The short-term pressure of quarterly earnings had no place in a company thinking in decades. So SpaceX stayed private, and its value was determined the only way a private company's value can be determined: by a small group of investors sitting in a room and agreeing on a number. Each funding round produced a new number. Each number was higher than the last. By early 2026, those private agreements had placed SpaceX's value above $300 billion, a company that had lost nearly $5 billion in 2025. worth $300 billion? Because investors agreed it was. Then, on June 12, 2026, that private agreement became public. SpaceX listed on the NASDAQ, under the ticker SPCX, at $135 per share, raising $75 billion, the largest IPO in the history of financial markets, surpassing Saudi Aramco's $29 billion record from 2019. In its first 4 days of trading, the stock climbed 67%. SpaceX briefly touched a market capitalization of nearly $2.8 trillion, and Elon Musk's net worth crossed $1.45 trillion. The world had its first confirmed trillionaire. To understand why investors assigned a nearly $3 trillion valuation to a company losing billions per year, you need to understand what they were actually buying. SpaceX's S-1 filing told investors the company had posted a net loss of $4.9 billion in 2025. It had lost a further $4.3 billion in just the first quarter of 2026. So what exactly were $350 billion in investor orders paying for? Start with what already exists. Starlink, the satellite internet network SpaceX built over a decade, serves over 10 million customers across 160 countries. In 2025, it generated $11.4 billion in revenue. It is the only segment consistently profitable on a GAAP basis, and analysts believe it alone could be worth hundreds of billions if separated from the rest. That is the foundation. Then there is Starship, the largest rocket ever built, designed to reduce the cost of reaching orbit so dramatically that it changes the economics of everything above it. Satellites, space stations, eventually, Mars. SpaceX spent $3 billion developing Starship in 2025 alone. Not because it generates revenue today, because if it works at scale, it makes every other part of the business significantly more valuable. Then there is the AI division, absorbed from xAI in February 2026, losing billions today, but sitting on what SpaceX's own filings describe as a $26.5 trillion total addressable market in artificial intelligence. And beneath all of it, Mars. Not as a concept, as the stated long-term business plan of the company. A second civilization, a backup for humanity. SpaceX's own filing estimated its total addressable market at $28.5 trillion, which it called the largest actionable market in human history. Investors were not paying for the company SpaceX is today. They were paying for the company they believe SpaceX will be. Markets do not price what is. They price what people believe will be. November 5th, 2024.
That Donald Trump has been elected President of the United States.
The morning after, Tesla stock jumps, then jumps again.
Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations.
Musk had spent months as one of Trump's most prominent supporters, donating over $250 million to the campaign and affiliated causes. Within weeks, he is appointed to lead the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. SpaceX already held billions in government contracts. NASA, the Pentagon, the Department of Defense. Now the man who owned SpaceX was operating inside the government that awarded those contracts. Questions were raised by journalists, by analysts, by members of Congress. Did political proximity accelerate contracts that benefited his companies? Supporters argue SpaceX wins on merit, the most capable and cost-effective launch provider available. A legitimate argument, supported by documented performance. SpaceX held roughly 90% of global commercial launch share by mass to orbit in 2025. Critics argue proximity created structural advantages that go beyond technical capability. Both arguments exist. Neither has been settled. What is documented is the timeline.
Early 2024. Musk's net worth, approximately $180 billion. By the SpaceX IPO in June 2026, $1.45 trillion. Whether political access drove that growth or simply coincided with it, this documentary cannot answer. What it can do is give you the facts and let you decide. For 4 days after the IPO, it felt unstoppable. Television anchors called it the IPO of the century. Analysts rushed to raise price targets.
Retail investors who had waited 24 years to own SpaceX finally could. And they did, submitting over $70 billion in purchase requests on the retail side alone. The stock peaked at $225 on June 16th, 67% above the IPO price in 4 trading sessions. Then, someone sold. And then more people sold. The same questions that had been footnotes in the IPO prospectus became the only questions that mattered. SpaceX had disclosed a net loss of nearly $5 billion in 2025, a further $4 billion in just the first quarter of 2026. Capital expenditures were running at an annualized rate above $30 billion, 3/4 of it aimed at AI infrastructure that had yet to generate meaningful returns. At its peak valuation, investors were paying roughly 100 times SpaceX's annual revenue. 100 times revenue for a company running at a loss. That is not a valuation built on what exists. That is a valuation built on an expectation of what will exist. And expectations, unlike factories, can change overnight. Starship suffered reliability setbacks. Concerns mounted about the margin trajectory of Starlink as SpaceX pushed into lower-priced international markets. The lockup expiration, when insiders could begin selling hundreds of millions of shares, was weeks away. Each of these was a question mark placed against the future investors had paid for. By late July 2026, the stock had fallen 50% from its peak. Musk's net worth fell from $1.45 trillion to approximately $690 billion. $750 billion erased in 6 weeks. And Elon Musk, the world's first trillionaire, posted 2 words on X: former trillionaire. And that brings us back to where we started.
The question was, did Elon Musk actually become the world's first trillionaire? He did. For a few weeks in June 2026. Then $750 billion disappeared in 6 weeks. The $1 trillion was never in a vault. It existed as a collective agreement about a future that has not happened yet. Change the belief, and you change the number. The way belief works, and the way it breaks, is always faster than anyone expects. And somewhere right now, you are still earning that dollar.